In here we have the American alligators. We have 2 males and 3 females. We have 2 males and 3 females. That's one of our males coming over right now. He's one of our biggest. He's around 10 feet. And the way you can tell the females and males apart is basically their size. The males will get around possibly up to 15 feet, and the females will stay around 8 to 10 feet.
So they follow Big Boy.
Yes. You can only find these alligators in the southeastern U.S., all the way down to Texas, up to North Carolina. And we do have them here in Florida, and they are actually our state reptile. And they are also the largest reptile in America. Now you can see he's tapping the piece of chicken on the alligator's nose. And that's because the alligator has sensors in his nose to let him know that something's close to him. And then he'll open up his mouth and he'll take the food.
Oh, That's like that.
These guys are carnivorous, so in the wild they'll eat anything from any little type of chicken or turtle if they find it in the wild. They'll eat birds, they'll eat fish. In here, they're not going to eat the turtles because we feed them enough that they don't need to snack on them. It takes too much time to bite through the shell to get only a little bit of meat. Because it takes too long to bite through the shell, and they won't get as much meat as waiting until we feed them. So it just takes up too much of their energy to waste. It's pretty much a waste of time to feed on these little turtles.
Why is one from the gator over there not coming to eat?
Yeah, they're not all hungry, and also in colder weather, they have to generate, they get their heat from the sun, so if there's not much sun, then they can't get enough heat to actually digest all their food. So if they're not warm enough, they're not really going to eat. And alligators live for a pretty long time. Since they do get to a large size and they have an armored body, they're pretty much at the top of their food chain, so nothing attacks them once they get fully grown, besides other alligators and humans. So they can live anywhere up to around 50 years. Oh, look at that little guy. They do not have vocal cords, but they do have the ability to make sound. The sound they'll make is called bellowing, and they actually breathe in air, and then they'll push it back out through their lungs, and it kind of just makes a bellowing sound. And they'll use that to kind of tell other alligators, this is my territory. They'll use it during breeding season, and then the little young alligators will actually make kind of a chirping call to let their mom know that they're ready to come out and get some food after they hatch. They will, but these guys haven't, have they? They haven't, yeah. These guys haven't, but they
just
do.
become sexually mature, these guys.
Okay, yeah, they just became sexually mature in here, so possibly in the future we will. Oh, it's hot.
He is nuts.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, I'm surprised with it being that it's warmed up, but
Yeah.
they're still not as active.
And when the mother does lay her eggs, if she lays them more in a cool temperature, they'll become females. And if she lays them more in a sunny spot, not as covered, and they become more warm, they'll actually hatch as males. So they can determine the sex of their hatchlings by the temperature that they lay their eggs in. Yep.
Yeah, it's just not enough, it's overcast. That's
Yeah.
why
And even though they stay under the water for a long time, they do not breathe underwater. What they do is they slow down their heart rate, and they can actually go underwater for around 15 minutes without breathing. And you can see the way their eyes and nose are positioned on their head. It makes it easy for them to lay under the water with just their eyes and nose out so that no one can really see them. And that way they're able to ambush their prey. We haven't gotten attacked here, but that's a good thing to talk about. In the wild, we do not want to go near alligators or crocodiles. They're very dangerous, even though we see all these television shows with people wrestling with alligators and catching them. We do not want to go near them in the wild. They can attack you. They will attack you. So we want to stay clear of them. These guys have been trained. We've worked with them a lot. That's why they know when we come in here, we're coming to feed them. They can attack us, but they haven't because they know we're here to feed them. And that's why they have these poles with them, the feeders, because they use them to push them back just in case one were to come too close to them. And then does anyone know the difference between an alligator and a crocodile? That's right. These guys, the alligators, have a more round snout, and then the crocodiles are going to have a more pointy nose. And they're also going to be a different color. They're going to be more greenish, whereas these guys are more brown. Yep. And they're also a lot more dangerous. When they get a hold of you, they can actually rip you apart, where these guys, if they're not as big, you might be able to get away okay, but crocodiles are more dangerous. Yes.
You guys are lazy today.
Right? They want us to come to them.
Yeah, they've been being fed all week like from the city.
Yeah, we've been really, really busy for the holiday weekend, so we get gator biscuits, and they've been fed. So sometimes, yeah, they really not wanting to eat the meat. Like big guy, he's usually get come right up and eat. They usually eat a whole 5-pound bucket of food.
Yep, and today they're getting some chicken and beef. And in the wild, if they were to catch something that's a little bit too big, or like if it was a bird and it needs to have it has feathers or anything, they'll sometimes take their prey underwater and tuck it underneath a rock to let it get more soggy so it's easier for them to chew on.
I wanted to see Big Boy eat.
Yeah, you can grab really quick.
Yeah, these guys, they have a lot of they have a lot of closing power. For these guys, you could actually hold their mouths closed with just your hand. They don't have a lot of opening power, but they do have a very good closing power and crunching and snapping power. They have very strong jaws. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, we got a
have
bunch of
some
little turtles in here. They'll come up, they'll snack up all the little bits that are left over. Well, we sure do apologize, guys, but they have been fed all week, and they are full. They weren't very hungry today.
They move a lot quicker in water than they do on land, right?
I think that they do move
yeah.
a lot quicker in water. I don't know. What do you think, Roger? Because they can have a short burst up to 35 miles per hour on land. That's why you hear the myth that there's a zigzag that you have to run zigzagging to get away from them. Well, they don't see straight ahead; they see side to side. So you're just going to run right into their view. So you just run straight ahead. But they can move pretty fast. These guys, like she said, are conditioned, so they're used to us being in here. They know Rodger feeds them. You know, you can tell who's going to be gentle, who's going to jump up and snap, and
In the water, they rely more upon like, hiding. Like that's why their eyes and stuff, like she said, and nose are right on the front, so they could hide most of their body and kind of just sneak right up on their prey. And they're mostly active like nighttime hunters. So they usually just kind of lay around and
Huh? No, it's over there.
Yeah, but we have one over there too.
any more questions, guys?
No, the guests have. You see those piles right there on the grass? Those are the alligator biscuits, and the guests can. Those look like the alligator
That's gator biscuits.
Yeah,
That's
those
what-
are gator
yeah.
biscuits. That's what you guys can throw into them.
Oh, we thought that was your toilet.
Nope.
Did you get in the water?
Yes.
Either in the water. Yep.
What does it mean?
I just know the